All right, let's get into this week in music news. And wow, what a week it's been. We saw the two absolute extremes of the music world play out. On one side, you've got the total chaos of a band literally falling apart in the middle of a tour. And on the other, the incredible, massive effort of bringing hundreds of artists together for one huge event. We're going to break down all the drama, the new tour dates, and a little mystery. Let's do it.
And we are starting with some serious drama. I mean, can you imagine being on a multi-country tour and your band just implodes? Well, that is exactly what went down this week, and it sent some major shockwaves through the metal community.
So, the band at the very center of this storm is the legendary British death metal group Cradle of Filth. Now, for a band that's been around for literally decades, this wasn't just some small disagreement. This was a full-on crisis that just exploded in real time, all while they were thousands of miles from home on a tour in South America. The band's response, led by their frontman Danny Filth, was, well, immediate and totally defiant. He didn't just put out a simple press release about lineup changes. Nope. He went straight to social media and basically framed this whole thing as an attack, an illegal attempt to derail the band. It was like a declaration of war, promising fans the show would go on no matter what. So let's break down who is actually out. First, guitarist Mark Ashok Smirda was fired. Then, almost immediately, his wife, Zoe Marie Fedorov, who was the band's keyboardist, quit out of solidarity. You can imagine the chaos. This left the band scrambling to fly in a temporary guitarist and bring on a brand new keyboardist, Kelsey Peters, just to be able to finish the tour. Okay, but there are always two sides to every story, right? Danny Filth's statement paints this picture of defiance, of fighting back against sabotage. But the members who left? Oh, they have a completely different take on what caused this whole mid-tour meltdown. And that other side completely flips the narrative. According to the former guitarist, Mark Schmurda, this was no sabotage. He claims it was the final breaking point after, and I'm quoting here, years of unprofessional behavior from people above us. So all of a sudden, the story isn't about an attack on the band, but about a conflict that's been boiling over within the band for a long time. So what was the unprofessional behavior he's talking about? Well, both Shmerda and Fedorov laid out some pretty serious issues. They're talking about low pay for a huge amount of work, incredibly high levels of stress, and this general feeling that the band's management just didn't value them. It all came together to create what they are calling a toxic work environment. But hey, while one band's tour is kind of going up in flames, another one is just getting started. It's actually a perfect reminder that for every story of conflict in music, there's another one about creation and pure excitement. And this week, that excitement comes from another huge act from the UK. And that amazing news comes from the one and only, the trailblazing British Sri Lankan rapper and activist, MIA. She was already scheduled to play a festival, but the demand was so high that she's now extending her whole trip to Australia. So for any of you fans down under, here are the dates you need to know. She's kicking things off at Harvest Rock in Adelaide, and then she'll be playing her own headline shows in Melbourne and Sydney. It's a great example of how just one festival date can totally blossom into a much bigger tour. And speaking of festivals, let's just zoom out for a second. Beyond the news about a single tour, the sheer scale of some of these upcoming events is just hard to wrap your head around. The logistics are absolutely mind-boggling, and it really all starts with the number of people involved. Okay, just take the Melbourne International Jazz Festival. This year, they are bringing in 500 artists. No, that is not a typo. 500 individual musicians and bands. That makes it their biggest lineup ever. Can you just imagine trying to coordinate the flights, the hotels, and the sound checks for a group that large? And these artists aren't just local talent either. They're flying in from 18 different countries. You have performers coming from basically every corner of the globe, turning the entire city into this temporary international hub for the whole jazz scene. It's incredible. And they have to pull this all off in just 10 days. We're talking a whirlwind of over 150 performances spread across 40 different venues. It's a full-scale musical takeover of an entire city, and it just shows you the incredible power and complexity of the live music world. And this really highlights the two different sides of the music business. You've got the Melbourne Jazz Fest, which is all about the public, right? It's for the fans, for live performances. But then you have an event like Big Sound up in Brisbane. That's purely for the industry. It's where labels go to discover new talent. It's where deals get made behind the scenes. Both are huge, but they serve completely different purposes. Okay, and to round out our week, we're gonna shift gears from what we know to what we don't. There's a little bit of a mystery brewing, thanks to a major entertainment company dropping a very, very intriguing hint.
So, Madcap Global Entertainment just put the entire industry on notice. They put out a teaser saying that a major announcement is coming at the end of next week. Of course, they gave absolutely no details, which has kicked the speculation machine into total overdrive. So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. What could it be? Is it a massive new festival? A surprise international tour from a huge artist? A major new signing? You know, the speculation is half the fun. What do you think the big announcement is? It'll be interesting to see who gets it right.